writing side of things, for our band at least, I know it works different for a lot of different bands, but we have an interesting setup because everybody in our band is creative and we all want to have some sort of say in the matter. It's evolved over the years a little bit, but it actually has been pretty much the same thing for the last 15 years. It's crazy. We've added and lost members, but the core 4 people have been in it, and we've been doing the same thing ever since. The first thing that's weird about our band is that our drummer writes all the lyrics, and if you corner him on the street on the next tour that we're at and you try and get him to carry a tune, you'll see that he doesn't write any of the melodies. So he writes all these lyrics. We'll have, like, over the course of the time while we're touring, he'll be writing tidbits of things in there, song title ideas, and he's got like this shoebox full of just ideas, scrap papers, napkins, and things with stuff on them. And then at some point he puts all that stuff together and he kind of comes up with shells of songs for lyrically. And then the same thing while we're touring around in a bus. Chris and Raj will be off on the wings with their acoustic guitars coming up with ideas for songs, and they write a majority of the shell of a song, and then they'll have melodies that go with that too, that they usually have just nonsense words or like a na-na-na thing going on. And at some point when we get to the writing phase of the record, we get together and try to put these ideas together. It's really weird because you'll have the shell of a song that doesn't have any lyrics yet, and then you have to take Vinny's lyrics and try to squeeze them into these melodies that they already have working. So, you know, the melody will have to change here or there, or the lyrics will have to change here and there to try and squeeze stuff in. You take out a the or an of, or try and find another word that has different syllables and stuff. So it's really interesting trying to make that kind of stuff happen. And then you have like the A sections of songs where you know there's going to be horn parts, and JR and I will go off and try and figure out horn parts at my house and come up with things, and then I'll go back to Rogers and we'll, you know, toss ideas around and kind of make some sort of horn part that is the final thing for that phase. So the writing thing is very weird for us because everybody does have their opinions, and this phase 2 of the situation is a little more tense and heated because everybody has their opinions and everybody wants to get their voice heard.
I'll keep my faith alive, 'cause this is paradise for parasite. I can't believe this sight. Streets full of blank faces and junky eyes. The streets won't sleep tonight. A lullaby for the half alive. The city swings and winds to the double crime of drugs and hard times.
And then so after we get the songs to a certain point and we have a producer lined up and that whole thing, we go somewhere to go record. And in this case, we went to Chicago for the record that we're doing right now, Gainesville, Florida. GNVFLA is the name of our record. And we went to Chicago, and Matt Allison at Atlas Studios is our producer and the man behind the knobs, who has been working like a slave, to be honest with you. And I thought it was going to be great. We were going to come to Chicago and I'd get to see a little bit of the town, hang out, ride the L a few times and go to the Sears Tower. Alas, we have been in the studio from noon until about midnight every day for the last month, and we're kind of workaholics. But I really don't think that I would have that any other way either, since, you know, we're basically just sitting in a room with a bunch of my friends and musicians and instruments and a bunch of toys to try and make our songs what they're supposed to be. And so, you know, this phase is a little bit easier because you've already gotten a lot of the creative disputes out of the way, and now it's just trying to put all that stuff down and then adding extra voices and arranging. And then you have the new person's opinion too. You get the producer involved, and you have another cook in the kitchen to try and move things around. And the arranging kind of happens. You might take a chorus and split it in half and maybe make an A section not as long as it was the first time, or let's add a different bridge than the one that we were using. Let's try and do this, or let's try and do that. So things get changed up a little bit than they were in the writing phase. But you come in, you know, like I said, you come in with shells of songs, and then you mold those into little statues that we're going to put on a CD. So then finally, after you're done with the writing and the recording of everything, you get to my favorite part of it, which is when you get to go out and play the songs that you've created for everybody out there. And this is the best part because you're already done with all the arguments and the songwriting side of it, where you've shaped everything into the way that you want it. So when you go after, the arguments are great because we put so much into it and we have so much invested in it that when we get to go out on stage, I think it really shows that there's definitely something inside of us that's coming out, and it's all the hard work that we've put into the songs, and it wasn't just like something we threw together. When we go out there and play those songs, everyone on the stage is feeling it because we all had something to do with it, and we all had our say. And I think that really shows, and I think that's my favorite part of it because we get to go share that with everybody else. The best part about being in a band for me, I guess, is that there is that cycle, and there's the different sides to, what essentially is my job, which is crazy to say that this is what, we do for a living. It's great that you get to, spend time being creative with your friends, coming up with different ideas and making music, and then you get to go out and play that music all over the world.